You are listening to an Audio Box original story. Please like and subscribe, and I will create more stories for your listening pleasure.
The Bathhouse Chapter 10. The Ambition of the Seed. The steam in the bathhouse didn't just rise. It breathed. It curled around the cedar beams like white silk, blurring the line between the physical world and the visions that had begun to haunt Glea's every waking moment. As Rayan lay in a deep medicated trance on the stone table, Glea succumbed to a sleep that felt like drowning. In her dreams, the sterile white halls of Factory 9 were melting. She saw her father, the architect, standing in his old office, but the glass walls were cracking. On the other side of the glass stood Cain, his face a mask of cold ash. He wasn't just a man, he was a parasite, draining the light from her father's eyes to power the machines in the basement to create his army of controlled killers. Then, the dream shifted. She saw Rayan, but he wasn't the savage man that attacked her. He was standing in a field of tall blue grass, the same color as the blue sparrow of her childhood stories. He looked at her with a clarity she had never seen, his green eyes no longer clouded by the serum. For the first time, he smiled, and a warmth she hadn't felt in years bloomed in her chest. Glea bolted upright, her skin damp with sweat. The silence of the bathhouse was absolute, broken only by the rhythmic drip-drop of water into a stone basin. She looked over at Rayan. He was still asleep, but his skin was no longer the gray of a dying man. It was flush with life. As she watched him, a realization hit her with the force of a physical blow. The clinical distance she had maintained for years had evaporated. Watching his chest rise and fall, seeing the peace on a face that had known only violence, she felt a profound, terrifying surge of affection. She wasn't just his handler anymore. She was his tether. You are staring at the mystery, not the solution. Ming's voice drifted from the steam. Ming was kneeling in the corner, tending to a single tiny sprout in a massive ancient ceramic pot. The pot was large enough to hold a tree, yet the plant was barely an inch tall. "I had dreams, Ming," Glea whispered, her voice trembling. "Cain, my father, and Rayan. It felt so real. The light, the warmth." Ming beckoned her over. She pointed at the tiny sprout. "Listen to the fable of the ambitious seed. This sprout was placed in a pot 10 times its size. The other gardeners laughed, saying it was a waste of space, but the seed knew a secret. A plant can only grow as large as the sky it can see, and the dirt its roots can touch." Ming looked at Glea, her eyes like dark pools of wisdom. "Your visions are the sky, Glea. They are becoming clearer because you are finally allowing your spirit to grow into the pot your father built for you. You were meant to be the bridge between what is seen and what is hidden. Do not fear the vastness of your feelings for the seed. They are the water that helps the seed break the soil." A sudden shift in the air made Glea spin around. Rayan was standing. He didn't sit up or struggle, he simply was standing, his movements as fluid and silent as a predator in the tall grass. The jagged red-rimmed wound in his side had closed into a faint silver line. He walked toward Glea. There was no savage twitch in his eye, no frantic checking of his pulse. His gaze was steady, calm, and impossibly deep. "The noise," Rayan said, his voice a low, resonant hum. "It's gone, Glea. I can hear the wind in the trees outside. I can hear your heart beating. For the first time, I can hear myself." He stepped into her space, his hand hovering near hers. He didn't touch her, but the heat radiating from him confirmed everything Glea had felt in her dream. "The ghost didn't just give me a formula," Rayan whispered. "He gave me the keys to the cage. I'm not Purgatory's dog anymore." Glea looked up at him, her bleed vision flickering for a second, not with a warning of death, but with a flash of the future. The two of them standing amidst the ruins of Factory 9 as the blue sparrows returned to the sky. "Then we stop running," Glea said, her voice hardening with a new purpose. "If the pot is this big, Rayan, then it's time we grew large enough to tear the whole building down." Thank you for returning.
Please like and subscribe, and more chapters will be on the way. I write original stories and create an audio version for your listening pleasure. These stories are a work in progress, so subscribe and comment, and it will inspire me to keep the chapters coming. Thanks again for stopping by.